It's quarterback day.
Yeah.
It's, in the mornings here, it's been very quiet when we get started. And if you notice, by the time 9 o'clock rolls around, there's a lot more activity. And then after we're done, there's even more activity. Not all the names that I said today are going to be here live.
Right.
But today's quarterback day, so it's going to be be popping in here.
You know it. It's the stars are out today, right? I mean, even our crew is excited today. Even last night, they were like, oh, man, we got everybody coming tomorrow. This is going to be awesome, right? I mean, Pete Dumalitalitis and Morgan, they were all like, man, I can't wait. And I share that feeling with them.
And it's our last day here, too. What a day to go out.
Right. Going out slinging.
Nothing against the guys we had Wednesday and Thursday because we had a lot of fun.
A lot.
But these are the guys that move the needle the most.
This is the top of the draft.
These are the guys that...
These are the stars. And we know it's a quarterback-driven league right now and wide receivers to go along with that. So those are the guys we primarily talk about and show highlights of. So I'm excited to see them and meet some of them for the first time.
You've applied the caveat to a lot of the guys we talked to, defensive linemen, corners, safeties. You haven't watched their film yet. You have started to do some quarterback film study. Initial thoughts?
Yeah. So... it's interesting. I try to hold my tongue a little bit, right? I do, even throughout the week here, because I notice, and some of our crew notice is I say things to people, and then the next day they change their ranking, and I'm like, I'm not sure how much I want to talk about this until we unveil it on our shows and stuff like that, right? But I feel like I need to just get some of this out now before I have more private conversations that people plagiarize my thoughts on.
What you're saying, this is one of the reasons why I really am not into the whole draft industrial complex because so many of the draft experts are the product of groupthink.
It's hearsay. I
what
heard
they
this.
hear. Right. It's not their own independent evaluation.
Exactly right.
You do your own independent evaluation.
Yes.
And I think it's important for the audience out there to understand. You can listen to others who are just providing you an amalgamation of the things they hear.
Yes, right.
And are more likely to be manipulated by scouts who want to work the board in a way that gets their guy to slip down to them versus somebody who's doing his own independent study the same way that a scout for a team would do. You're setting your board like a team would.
100.
And you're not making your rankings based upon whatever bullcrap
I haven't even
someone
talked to
may be
anybody
trying
about
to
it.
push you.
Yes,
hey, this guy's the best. Here's why. You're going to look at it and you're going to make your own decision.
I'm going to make my own decision. I've been around quarterbacks my whole life.
That would be the nicest thing I've ever said about you.
It really was. I appreciate
Strike
you saying
that from the tape.
Boom. I appreciate that, though. No, but yeah, I have not had any conversations with any established NFL people, right? Other than like a GM or two that walked by and they were like, hey, who should I take at quarterback, right? I've had a few of that, but like not serious conversations. So it's an interesting class. I think it's really, to me, there's going to be a lot of conversation here. Now, here's what I'll say first off. Caleb Williams is clearly the best, so there's not going to be any shock in my rankings or anything there. He's number one, right? He's going to be in a tier by himself. As I watched him, right, I got a feel for him on the weekend, like I told you, but when we have dead time here in Indianapolis, which we do, that's what I've been doing. I've been in my room watching film, writing notes on these guys. Caleb Williams is got a lot of Mahomes-ish in him. But the thing about Caleb Williams that's phenomenal, one, the pocket feel, incredible. Two, the arm is incredible. The arm is whatever throw you want to make, whatever way he wants to make it, he can do it. You talk about platforms and sidearm. Sure, he can do all that. I think the thing I'm surprised by more than anything is when he is in the pocket, in the clean pocket, his mechanics are really flawless. He does all the right things as far as what I look for to throw the ball and be consistently accurate, consistently throw the ball with power and not lose control of it, right? And then, of course, it's the other stuff that you start to go, oh, wow. Because we know life in the NFL, unless you got the best offensive line in football, is moving. I got to slide and, throw a 30-yard crosser. Right. It's never
That's
really
why Mahomes
perfect.
is so good. He's a shortstop playing quarterback.
Exactly. And this is where Caleb Williams thrives. Caleb Williams, not great pass protection in a lot of games last year, right? He's patient in the pocket. He wants to throw the ball down the field. But if he's got to move and throw the ball with an awkward body, an awkward body position, feet off the ground, the Mahomes things that you're alluding to, it's also phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's like, damn, it's still like he just stripes it in there and it's on target. On the run is incredible, right? So the negatives about him are all going to be, to me, a little bit more team-related. They stunk. Their defense was horrible, right? They had good receivers. They didn't have great ones, right? They weren't awesome on offense. So I think he kind of felt the burden. And his only negatives is that he just tried to do too much in games where he knew we're overmatched, so I got to carry the team. A little Josh Allen-ish, right? Where people are going to dock him and go, oh, you threw interceptions in this game and took sacks. Well, they stink. He knew they had to score 50 to win the game, or they weren't going to win the game. And I think he is
part of what Patrick Mahomes dealt with too at Texas Tech.
Exactly right. So there's going to be some mistakes in that, and that's the only negative I see about him. But he is a slam dunk. And I'll say this, Mike, after the week of really kind of studying it, I certainly can justify Chicago trading Justin Fields and going with Caleb Williams.
That's my next question. You understand why they're tapping the for sale sign into the ground?
I do. And I've been a part of the member of, hey, Justin Fields is really good. You can win with him, right? Let's build the team. We've had those conversations, right? But I get this. I do. Caleb Williams is special. He is the number 1 pick in the draft. I'd be shocked if we don't see that trade go down sometime in the next 10 days. But yeah, it certainly gives me, I don't know what I want to say, more confidence in the decision by Chicago. And, they got my backing is what I'm saying from here on out from what I've seen with Caleb Williams.
I mean, there is no sure thing when it comes to the first pick in the draft. There really isn't. For every Peyton Manning, there's a Jamarcus Russell. But your eyes don't lie. You see what he can do. And everybody's looking for a short-list franchise quarterback who can guarantee consistent contention. And you look at how long it's been for the Bears since they've had a true franchise quarterback. Sid Luckman was the last one. They thought maybe Jay Cutler, but the farthest he got them was an NFC championship game. This isn't about numbers. This is about wins. This is about postseason success. This is about Super Bowls. And even when the Bears won a Super Bowl, it wasn't because of Jim McMahon. Right. It was because of the defense.
That's right. They finally, I think, have found the diamond in the haystack.
Yes.
Right? The diamond in the rough properly, but if you know Simsisms, right? So I think they've got a special guy. And then, you couple with that, we talked about that offense has got some stuff there. He's a natural, this kid. He really is. He was born to play quarterback. He was born to throw the football. And then his movement and running is special too, Mike. I mean, yeah, he can run downfield and get big gains there, but, man, his scrambling is Mahomes and Josh Allen-like, where he wants to buy time and then he wants to throw a 30-yard laser down the field, and that to me is something too. But thoroughly impressed by Caleb Williams. Slam dunk number 1, and he'll have no problem throwing the ball through the Chicago elements or any of that. His arm is so strong. He throws perfect spirals. He spins it really hard. Those are the type of throwers that usually can cut it through the wind and bad elements.
When it became obvious last week that he wasn't going to have an agent, one of my concerns for him was you need to have an agent who protects you against all the crap that the agents for the other players will throw at your guy.
Right.
He's not going to need that.
He's not going to need that. Yeah. He's not. Everybody's going to watch the film and go, okay, let's move on. He's going number 1 to Chicago. And now this is where...
Kind of like Troy Vincent in the competition committee meeting. Move on.
Yeah, right, which is so great. He was saying that. I love it. Because you can picture the owner saying that, right? Right? You can picture like a John Mara saying that. So now the other part of this. Now this is, to me, doesn't quite get interesting yet. Number 2 is clearly Jayden Daniels. That will not be a change on my ranking when that comes out in another few weeks. Right?
Careful who you tell.
Yeah. Well, that's how I started to figure. There was a few people out there that were like, Drake May is 2, Jayden Daniels is 3, and I had a conversation with one of the 2 of them, and then all of a sudden I looked and they switched their damn rankings. And I was like, what? I mean, literally, like the next day, right?
Wow.
So, that's where I had this little talk with Morgan and Pete Demolitis last night, just a little bit about how should I approach this. But Jayden Daniels, clearly number 2, in a tier by himself, too. Let me just say that.
We had a lot of guys talk about how Jayden Daniels was the best guy they saw as an opponent. A lot of the pass rushers.
Yes. He has everything. He's, I'm not going to put, he's not quite the thrower Caleb Williams is, right? And that's why I put Caleb Williams as in a special Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen tier of throwing the football, right? Right, C.J. Stroud last year, even though it's a little bit more, off the cuff. C.J. Stroud was such a machine and perfect. This guy's a little bit, colors outside the line. Jayden Daniels, he's not that. So that's why I'm going to put him in tier 2, but he's in tier 2 by himself. And it's a, tier 2, whoa, this guy is awesome, and I think he's the number 1 pick in a lot of drafts if it's just not Caleb Williams or some other, superstar that's out there. So, but when Jayden Daniels, the throwing, consistently accurate, got a big-time arm, throws the ball down the field, right? Got great presence in the pocket. You could tell he sees the field the right way. And, like Caleb Williams, he can do some of the, sidearm, back foot, throw the ball that way and all of that as well. Now, it's not up to Caleb Williams' capacity, but it's really good. But, Mike, the running, now he's got that on Caleb Williams. This is the best running quarterback we've seen, and I'm trying to think here in a little bit, right? It's the best running quarterback probably to come out since Justin Fields.
Wow.
He is wide receiver fast, right? We heard some of the guys say that. He can weave through and turn the corner, and you go, whoa, that's a quarterback turning the corner like that? So he's incredible that way. And, yeah, mechanically throwing the football. Again, another guy, it's perfect spirals, it's spin, and he could throw ball down the field with power, out routes, 20-yard out routes, comebacks, go routes, whatever you want, post over the top with very little effort, right? And that's big to me too because, again, we know in the NFL, the pocket's tight. It's close. You got to be able to throw ball sometimes. It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be able to, I worked with my quarterback coach and stepped into this the right way and got everything in the right position. A lot of the plays in the NFL are not like that. So you got to get it done with your pure physical ability. Jayden Daniels could do that. I'd be shocked sitting here right now, 1-2, done, in the books. I would be shocked if it's not this way, Mike. I don't know how a team, the Commanders, yeah, you're not going to get Caleb Williams, but you're going to fall into Jayden Daniels, who's got big-time superstar potential. I mean, right? Anthony Richardson, I'm probably missing him and his running ability last year, right? Now, the negative will be he's narrow, right?
Right.
And can he take a pounding? But I haven't seen anything that scares me. And a year after Bryce Young being drafted, I mean, Jayden Daniels is the Incredible Hulk compared to Bryce Young. So I'm not really that worried about it. But clearly the number 2, and that will not change in my rankings when it comes out. It's 1, Caleb Williams, 2, Jayden Daniels, and I'd be shocked if it doesn't play out like that on the board in the draft.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.